Hello Internet, my name is Vince Rodriguez, and today I wanted to talk about a lot of the stuff that's going on the media where they're talking about defunding the police. I think that's kind of not a good idea, but what I think we should do is we should fund the police, and we should fund them and have them learn what I think it would be something really beneficial called folk-style wrestling. And the reason why I say folk style wrestling and not, there's different styles of wrestling. There's folk style and there's freestyle and Greco-Roman and then some other traditional kind of wrestlings that go on in different cultures. But the reason I say folk style wrestling instead of like freestyle and Greco-Roman wrestling is because folk style, they have a point system where, you know, when it goes on to the second period, I don't want to get it all for you, that people that don't know what wrestling is. They have a position in wrestling called referee's position, or what they call top bottom, where one wrestler goes down on all fours and the other wrestler is on top of them. And the object of that situation, what happens is one wrestler's trying to escape and the other wrestler's trying to keep the guy pinned down and possibly try to turn him onto his back to get a pin or some sort of what we call back points. The reason why I think that has its advantages rather than like freestyle Greco-Roman is because those types of wrestling, they're not really worried about escaping from the guy that's on top of them because of the way that the point system is. They're worried about just not getting rolled over and stuff. And like I said, it all has to do with the way the point system is. And so I think that would be beneficial for a lot of these police officers to learn, because you will see that, and I'm not trying to knock any other style of police training or anything. I'm sure that they all have their benefits, but sometimes I see some of these police training videos and they really, the techniques that they show these officers really don't, I don't want to say they don't work, but no one's just going to stand there and just like, you're going to throw a punch and then the guy's going to block and then you do all these weird strikes to him. There's going to be people resisting. And that's why I think folk style wrestling is really good, is because it teaches you how to control somebody when someone's resisting. And I think that's what I said was the difference between like folk style and freestyle, is like when they get into the referee's position and, like, for example, freestyle wrestling, the guy on the bottom just balls up and he's worried about not getting rolled. Whereas in folk style wrestling, the person that's on the bottom's trying to get up and escape the guy because he wants to get, you can get points. And like I said, it all has to do with the point system in those wrestling, in that wrestling style. And so I think it would be beneficial for cops to learn, because with this whole situation with George Floyd, the way he got murdered, there should be really no reason for trained men of the law to require 4 of them to take down one guy. Now I get it if some guy's maybe on PCP or something and he's all lit up and he's just like shrugging guys off, okay, and you know, I'm not saying either like some of these techniques the cops learn as far as like how to, they have to worry about not getting their guns stolen and all that. That's a thing too. But if you'll see, like on the news a while back, there was a high school wrestler, a champion high school wrestler, where I guess there was a man that was trying to kidnap a little kid, and the man, you could see him, he walks in and he starts socking everybody up, and then there was a man that was trying to stop him from coming into the store he was in. You'll see that he went in, punched the guy out, and the guy ran away because he was all scared. And you see this teenager, I think he was 16 years old, he just comes in there, a wrestling champion in folk style wrestling, comes in there, slams him on the ground, pins him there until the cops come. Easy. One kid, where we have 4, you know, trained people, supposedly supposed to be trained, hold George Floyd down and then kill him because they were pinning him down with something that was really unnecessary way of holding somebody down with their knee on their neck and all that. They didn't need to do that, and I'm sure that they, you know, some of them, maybe not all of them, were, you know, the one guy that was on the back of his neck, you could see automatically that he was digging his knee, and it looked like he was purposely doing that. But that's besides the point of what I'm getting at is the benefits of folk style wrestling is, especially in And like if you see in MMA, a lot of these people that are champions, they came out of a folk style wrestling background. And the reason why that they're champions is because according to like people like Joe Rogan, who's been in the fight game for a long time, watching the fights and analyzing them, he says the wrestlers is the best base to learn in MMA because they can dictate where the fights go. And a lot of these wrestlers, that's why they excel in that in MMA, is because they're able to control the person on the bottom, keep them from getting up and pinning them down and all that kind of stuff. And I think that would be beneficial for cops, especially any of you guys that were wrestlers in the past. I don't know if you ever wrestled around with some of your friends that never wrestled, and you kind of know what I'm talking about, how easy it is to kind of hold them down and stuff like that because they're untrained. So it's for someone that's trained at keeping somebody down, especially when the person's resisting, like in folk style wrestling, they're trying to get away. It's a very beneficial thing, I think, for cops to learn. Now, of course, the cops are going to learn how to also do all this while keeping their guns safe and not getting the guns taken away and all that. I'm sure that there's a lot of other techniques they can learn, but I don't think wrestling would be something that would go against any of that. Also, too, it's a lot of these people that are in college, these college wrestlers, they graduate from college and they go to do whatever. It will benefit them because they can maybe get a job training law enforcement in how to wrestle. And I think too, for all you wrestlers out there that know what the grind is, I think they should make the cops go through the grind too, just to see, because there's benefits and that kind of stuff too. So I just kind of wanted to share that. Now I know cops, they learn like jujitsu and stuff, and that's also good too, to learn how to, in case you get put on your back, how to control somebody from when you're on your back. But I think wrestling, especially folk style wrestling, is good for when somebody is you're on top and you're trying to keep the guy pinned down. There's a lot of techniques that we have in folk style wrestling. We learn how to collapse a guy onto his stomach, how to get their arms back behind their back, and all these different little techniques that for people that are not wrestlers, they don't know what they are, but people that, you know what I'm talking about, you wrestlers out there that ever competed in folk style wrestling, you know what I'm talking about when I'm talking about breakdowns and mat returns and stuff like that. A lot of these people that are resisting arrest, you'll see that they get into rest position and then they break free from the cops, and some of these cops have trouble keeping them down. And that's something I think, like I said, that's the main benefit of, I think, folk style wrestling, because these people train in day in and day out doing that type of stuff. And when you train in it, and then you go and you do, practice it with somebody that's never trained in that type of stuff, it's really easy to keep someone down onto the ground. And like I said, there should be no reason for two cops, they're like 200 pounds each, 6-foot cops or something, struggling to keep a person of the same size down. You know what I mean? And like, I get it, there might be people on drugs, or maybe the cops are worried about them grabbing their gun or something, but like I said, there's a lot of evidence out there. If you see like wrestlers, like I said, this kid, 16-year-old kid, wrestling champion, came and just pinned this guy and kept him down while everybody else was having trouble holding this guy down or keeping this guy from attacking him and stuff like that. So that's what I wanted to mention. I hope you guys out there, that are wrestlers, agree with me, because you guys know what I'm talking about. And like I said, wrestling kind of isn't seen as a sport, but it's also, I think, a good self-defense martial art, if you want to call it that. Even though it doesn't get credit as a martial art, it is, and the effectiveness of it is really shown in like the UFC and mixed martial arts and stuff like that. So, and like I said, I'm not knocking any other martial arts that the cops learn. I think maybe they could take little nitbits of that, but I really wish cops would learn how to wrestle. And I'm not saying that I can go out there and just beat up anyone, because I used to wrestle, but what I'm saying is, if you train in it and you get the feel of it, when you go up against someone that's really not trained in it, it's really easy to like keep them down, and it's kind of funny. Like I said, when people don't know how to wrestle and you wrestle around with them, then they get all panicky because they don't know how to keep you off of them. But anyways, that's what I wanted to share with you guys. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys later.